This is the Edge Blucore, Diadem's latest paddle. Diadem's first Blucore model, the Warrior, didn't gain much traction, at least not in my area. I was playing with their 14mm, which is their thinnest option, and I thought it was one of the better control paddles I've played with. So I can only imagine how the 20mm felt like. Anyways, although it was a full foam core, it didn't pack enough power in my opinion in today's paddle climate, which is why I think it didn't gain popularity. Their newest Edge Blucore supposedly packs a punch, and they have been flying off the shelves. So let's see if it's a big upgrade or nothing to write home about. As a reminder, this is a first impressions review, not a full review. I played with this for about a week, so I can't speak on long-term durability. It does feature a full foam core, which hypothetically removes the possibility of core crush. Shout out to Premier Racket Sports for letting me demo this paddle. Check them out if you're in the Atlanta area, and more on them later. The Edge Blucore is Gen 4 technology, which means it has a full foam core. Like I mentioned earlier, the first and foremost benefit of a full foam core is the durability. Core crushing was a huge issue with pickleball paddles, but with the introduction of Gen 4 paddles, it seems like it slowed down a bit. There's still a bunch of variants in the different Gen 4 paddles. For example, a carbon true foam or a Selkirk Boomstik. Since they kind of play so differently, not sure if there's a consistent performance benefit with all the Gen 4 paddles. The Edge Blucore has 3 different shapes and 2 thicknesses, 14 and 16. This right here is the hybrid 16mm, which apparently is the most popular option of the 2 hybrid models. My paddle came in at 8.38 ounces. For context, I weigh my paddles right before this review, and spoiler alert, I was kind of thinking I was getting better at playing with stock paddles, at least from the last few paddles I've played with. I used to put more lead on everything, but recently I haven't. But this thing being 8.38 is already like a modded paddle for most people, so I guess the reason I've been playing better with stock paddles is because it's been weighted up and not my actual skill. Anyways, regarding pop, I think this paddle is above average. Good level where not everything is popping up, which is probably my biggest pet peeve, but still enough power on my counters and putaways. This paddle has a firm, thick feel. Maybe I've been playing with a lot of 14mm recently, but my initial thought with this paddle was it was like a thick board. Off the face, it feels stiff. Doesn't feel like the ball dwells or gets absorbed and rebounds. Kind of just pops off right away in my opinion. That being said, control and resets felt really good. The sweet spot is good, very consistent on the resets. Nothing really pops up a lot higher than you would expect. Spin is average to above average in my opinion, at least for my playstyle. Didn't notice a lack of spin, but also didn't notice crazy spin. This paddle was demoed before me, not sure how many people, but maybe it's not the fairest comparison. Like I mentioned earlier, I did play well with this paddle from the start. Didn't need to add my lead setup. Very good control for a power paddle. Speaking about power, I would say this is a low to mid-tier power paddle. Probably a step up from the True Foam, a little more than the Jolt, but for sure less than your RPM, Boomstiks, and Joolas. Serves and returns were good, just still needs a bit of effort to get them deep. Putaways were also solid, gets the job done. This is probably a good power level for most players. I only played with the J2 NF for a day or so, but I think these 2 paddles are very similar. Would need to hit them side by side to be certain, but that's what I think the closest comparison is. Now let's rate this on MyPickleList. MyPickleList is a website that I built for community-driven paddle ratings. Ideally, it makes it very easy to determine if a paddle is good or not without having to watch a bunch of YouTube reviews like this one. We currently have 67 members and 346 ratings. If you're in Georgia, you should consider joining. Premier Racket Sports is giving away $20 gift cards if you rate and comment on 5 paddles. Anyways, back to the review. Overall, I think the Edge Blucore is a very good paddle. Kind of like what I said about the Jolt last week. Doesn't do anything too crazy, but everything it does is very solid. It's one of those paddles that just make you play well. It could be the shape, but I did enjoy this more than the Jolt. The Jolt was elongated and this is a hybrid shape. Just felt like it had a bit more juice and the control and sweet spot were better. I am still stuck between the 7 and an 8. I rated the Jolt a 7 because there were so many new paddles and I felt like some of them would be better. This is better, but not sure if it's a whole point better. If I could, I would rate this a high 7, but since MyPickleList only does whole numbers for ratings, I'll give it an 8. I'm the only rating on MyPickleList for this paddle, so the score is now an 8. Overall, very good paddle. Less power than the top power paddles, but controllable and consistent. Thank you guys so much for watching. Add some ratings to my pickle list. It means a lot. Also, join my Discord, which is the best pickleball Discord out there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.